Hi everyone, this is Twin Way Shower. Welcome to my channel. I'm a life coach, emotional healer, counselor, EFT and LOA practitioner, and also a way shower for the twin flames. Thank you so much for appreciating my earlier videos wherein I spoke about twin flame introduction, signs that you will be meeting your twin flame, signs that you're experiencing a false twin flame relationship, and also the purpose of the twin flame journey. Now, if you haven't watched them yet, please do so by clicking on the link that I'm going to put in the description box. Also, if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe to stay updated. Now, being a way sure, I share my journey with you all so that the experience of mine can help you cope up with your pain and suffering. I'll let you know how I dealt things or what are the things that I faced during my awakening time so that it becomes easier for you. Now remember, this is my journey and yours might be completely different. Thus, not everything will resonate. So you may like to take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about a spiritual term called the dark night of the soul. Now many of you would have heard this term earlier. And for many, it will be a term that you are going to hear for the first time. And trust me on this, you have not landed on this video out of any sheer coincidence. And when you go through this video, you will be able to connect very well. So what exactly is the dark night of the soul? A dark night of the soul is a typical spiritual crisis or a existential crisis, or you can say it's an identity crisis that we face once or many times during the time of our life's journey. Of course, the number of such situations will be something that you had contracted at the time of their birth. The souls agree to learn lessons before taking birth. And according to the agreement, the souls will receive situations, people, places in order to receive the necessary guidance. The whole idea is that such learning, with such learnings, we align our souls back to the consciousness, to the Creator, to divinity incomplete. And how do you know that you are aligned? You know, it's a question that we all ask. How do I know that I'm aligned with God? Now, your soul is the guide. Soul is the guide that's going to tell you the path. So you need to listen to your intuition, to your soul, because your soul knows it. Now, let me give you an example. We all know when we learn to swim, there are two things that we learn. What is going with the flow, and there is one which is going against the flow. We know when we are going with the flow, it is less tiring. We feel rested while we are going with the flow. The speed is good and we move forward. And the flow is very smooth. Now going against the flow is tough. It's energetically draining out. We are restless and we consume a lot of time and effort. Now, during our spiritual awakening, the soul will be provided with different situations wherein we would have to make choices about ourselves. Now, it might be a choice of people that you're dealing with. It might be the food you eat, the career you choose, the place you live, or it might be even the choice of the way we have lived so far. Now, as we are growing, we make these choices. However, not each choice that we make is correct. We are all human beings and to err is human. Nonetheless, we are given this special the special organ in our body that helps us to understand whether or not we are going with the flow of the journey or against the flow of the journey. Now, whether the decisions that you are making for yourself is in alignment with the divine purpose or not. And that's your heart. That's the way we feel, the way we are connected. Now take for example, you are in a place, in a career, and you feel suffocated. Your heart is saying, yeah, I don't feel like going to the work the next day. Now let me give you a quick example. Like it's summers and you want to have some nice Alfonso mangoes. Now you're too desirous to have mangoes. However, a friend comes in and gives you an ice cream or a dessert to eat. Now you might want to have this ice cream or dessert, But the deep desire of having this Alfonso will not leave you until you have it. Now, why is that happening? This is simply because our soul understands the craving, and accordingly it is driving your body so that the desire gets fulfilled. Now if you are really passionate about eating Alfonso, you will be moving out of your comfort zone. Be it any degree of temperature outside, you would love to face that scorching heat, driving to the market, finding out that vendor and being patient till you find one who is selling Alfonso. Thereafter you'll bring those mangoes home, you wash it, keep it in the refrigerator to cool it down, and at the end of the day, when you're going to sit down and have those nicely cool Alfonsos, believe me or not, after so much of hardship, when you sit down to have those mangoes, the satisfaction won't be at the stomach or at the physical level outside. The contentness will be at a soul level. The passion that you showed will be something that you're going to talk about in the years to come, in the times to come. Now, the dark night of the soul is much similar to the example that I'm giving you. Now, the basic purpose of going through the dark night of the soul is realizing and honoring what your soul needs. The only thing that's significant here is that the changes that you need to make now to your life during this dark night of the soul, this is going to be so forceful, so urgent, that it leaves you completely disoriented. Now here is the catch. I always tell people that for a healthy renovation, there needs to be a complete demolition. I'm going to repeat this for you. For a healthy renovation, there needs to be a complete demolition. The dark night of the soul will do the same thing. You will be forced to shut down or be demolished completely, so that the new you can be born. While for many, this phase of life, howsoever you reach it, maybe it could be a means of a financial loss, it could be the departure of a loved one, a separation, a dip in the career, maybe a dip in your health, or even an accident. This might look like a complete halt to the amazing life that you were living. However, this speed breaker in life will allow you to take control of your life and build it again, which otherwise was speeding up and you were losing control of the vehicle. During the dark night of the soul, you're essentially reprogramming your mind and body to be attuned, being in sync with the light and divinity. Now you have to let go of the darkness which is inside you in order to make space for light to enter. And a dark night of soul doesn't always have to be a painful experience, depending how much your soul is awakened. It's like a detox program wherein you know that after doing this detox, you'll be much healthy, you'll be more fit, and you'll be feeling good. Your metabolism will be good. So you're forced into a restrictive or isolative environment where your intake of food or your intake of sleep, your intake, everything is calculated. And you will be receiving several changes to your body, mind and soul. But trust me on this, when you move out of it, you will be a completely new person. Now, what are the signs that you are going through a dark night of the soul? What will happen? And why is it so liberating? Point number 1, spiritual depression. Believe me or not, dark night of the soul is a true death. One true death. And one literally dies the old self and is born again. And during such phase, you will feel completely disconnected with the Creator. Yes, you're getting it right. You will be disconnected with the Creator also. Not just the people around you, not just within, even with the Creator. It's like Christ on the cross lamenting, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" Now, in my case, I was going through this turbulent marriage. There were fights, quarrels each day. I was forced to do things which my heart was not accepting. And to top it, I was asked to keep my mouth shut. My financials was disturbed and I had no friends around. I wanted to speak to my friends about what I'm experiencing, but I felt that they do not understand. Now all this was very suffocating. It's like a suddenly your life becomes meaningless and empty. I was so hopeless about my future and absolutely low on my energy. Yet I had to gather strength each day to carry on with my journey. Now, one good thing that I did during this time period was to introspect. Take a pause, introspect, dive within and learn. Try to see what this phase is trying to teach me. I began to connect with my Creator, literally every moment, and leaning onto divine for guidance. As I said, during this time period you will feel disconnected with the Creator, but being a person of good faith, a awakened soul, or a person who is on the verge of awakening, do not leave. Do not leave. Keep moving, keep praying. Seek guidance. The more I did, the more clarity I got. I understood that I need to stand for myself, and come what may, I need to honor what my soul, my intuition is guiding me to. Now the word of God says the light shines amongst the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. And that happens in the dark night of the soul. It is in this darkness that profound transformation is possible. It is said, when you wake up in the middle of the night and there is darkness all across, it is said that the pupil of your eye widens in the dark, because the body is preparing to utilize its 100% capacity, in order to find a path or the light while being in the darkness. Now, when everything is meaningless, you have the opportunity to find your path. Let go of your old beliefs, concepts, fears, whatever. So, for example, till date, let's say you were obsessed with setting up a business and suddenly you go bankrupt. And it actually happened with a dear friend of mine, and while it happened, he also had ups and downs in his love life, in his relationship. And to top it, his one parent died and then the second. Now you can imagine what this person would have gone through. But today when he sees retrospectively, he realizes that all this transformation was necessary for him to evolve as a person that he is now. These turbulences in his life helped him to follow his soul calling, and now he is a passionate life coach who's helping several people. Now, in short, you consider yourself as a pupa inside that cocoon that's dark, that's hopeless. But remember, for the metamorphosis to take place and to allow the pupa to emerge into a butterfly, the only deciding factor will be the inner strength of the pupa and nothing else. Now we talk about point number 2, death of ego. Now, as we are brought up, the word death has always been provided to us as a term that we should fear. It's destructive, it's decaying, it's harmful, it's a loss. We're hardly ever taught that death is an opportunity for us to move forward to another lifetime, to new chapters, to new learning, to new beginnings. Moreover, we are told that the physical or the outer body that we have is lost due to death. It's a severe loss. We are never told that we utilize the outer body to learn the lessons that the soul had agreed to learn. Now, before we learn what the death of ego is, let us first understand what ego is. How it is big, how the ego came into picture. Now, right from the beginning of our life, we are provided with an identity and our do's and don'ts around that identity. Now, the moment you're born, you're told, oh, it's a boy, it's a girl. Right? Thereafter, we're told how a boy should behave, how a girl should behave. Now, boys should be strong, girls are weak, boys don't cry, girls don't do daring tasks. As a result, we are told that we are separate from oneness. We are not equal. We are not equal, and we are not godlike. We are separated from God. We are separated from human beings. We are separated identities. Thereafter, even further now, life goes on and we are given more, separate paths. There's this good, there's this bad, there's beautiful, there's ugly, there's love, there's hate, there's right, there's wrong. Now we are given several thought processes around this identity that we create for ourselves. Now, an ego death is literally an identity theft for oneself. Ego death is essentially an experiencing, you experience of embodying your true nature completely, or learning and embracing who you really are. And what is that? You are one with God and no different from anyone else. Now, what does that mean? It means you are powerful identity who has the ability to co-create, who has the ability to manifest, who has the ability to do greater things. Yes, you hold the potential. In my lifetime, due to this turbulent marriage, I had to separate out from my husband and take charge of the entire household by my own self. I have 2 kids, and being a single parent is not an easy task. It left me with questions. Who am I? Why I am here? Why so much of suffering? However painful the separation was, the singlehood journey taught me to be independent. I took charge of my financials, grew in my career. I picked up riding a bike, which otherwise is a taboo in the Indian society. I began to ride, published my books. I performed in theatres. I became a good speaker. I took up multiple tasks that one doesn't find easy to manage or do. Little did I understand that I was stepping into my divinity and becoming one with the Creator, and that's the ultimate purpose. You shun the entire ego, your identity, and you evolve as a greater potential. The potential was already there. You have now started acknowledging and manifesting that power of co-creation, doing greater things in your life. That's what the dark night of soul takes you through. You evolve as a person. Now, point number 3, which is going to happen during the dark night of the soul, the urge to declutter and rearrange. During the dark night of the soul, you will be pushed, and I'm saying it literally pushed, to declutter and organize. Now, be it a closet, be it your career, your life, anything and everything that you have an attachment with. Now, why that happens is that now you feel this urgency to create space. When you declutter, you remove the clutter out of things, you create new space to accommodate the new energies. And the best way to do so is to release what is not resonating with you or not meeting the purpose. Listen, your soul understands and identifies clearly what you need, who you need. Now, it will be more and more of a diving within, diving into your inner heart and fulfilling what it's asking for. So you will be taking out those clothes out of the closet that's been lying for ages, and you'll give it to someone. You understand they no longer serve you and bringing no goodness or value to you. Now, you might even be switching jobs or career to see what suits your soul. Most of the people, including me, found out what I like the most. I like and love to guide people, and I chose to work in the same stream. Now is the time when you will be able to differentiate what it means to earn the bread and what it means to live a life. Now, some of you might even move on in a relationship because you realize how stagnant it is to be there. You value your growth in a relationship and now get focused on what it means to be into a relationship. Like I learned through hardships in my love life to focus on the characteristics of my true partner, and I listed those for myself. So I was creating my future. So you are definitely going to make a choice of what you need to keep and what you need to let go. Number 4, changes in habits of eating and sleeping pattern. You remember the time when you were unwell and the doctor will prescribe you some kind of a medicine that will put you to sleep. Now what happens? Sleep helps you to recover as most of the outer body is shut. Thus the recovery speeds up. During the dark night of the soul heals from the pains and torments that it has suffered over the course of life. Now this is pretty exhausting. And you will feel tired. You will, literally require longer time for sleep. Now, there might be incidences where you might be feeling even sleepless. That's because of the anxiety. The body is unable to understand what is happening. So there is no sync. As the soul is tired, but the body may or may not. And it could be vice versa. So you might be waking up in the middle of the night or at odd hours, or maybe you're just napping at odd times. Now this is completely okay. Keep yourself hydrated, relax, take ample rest whenever possible. This is perfectly fine. Also, you would notice that you would be having changes in your eating habits. Like I remember moving completely out from the non-vegetarian food, and my liking towards vegetarian, especially fruits and vegetables, that started growing. Fast forward, I even moved to 1 meal a day. Now why that happens? You are growing as a spiritual being, and now you will understand that food, especially the non-vegetarian food, it's a dense fiber that is not easily digested. And most of the energy that you hold in your body, you are actually diverting it to digest. You're diverting it to digestion of non-veg. Now, as you awaken, you will purposely not incline to channelize your energy in the body to do things that's unnecessary. You'll be now conscious where I need to put my energy, including the digestion part. You don't want to, spend your energy digesting a high fibrous food. You want to do something more creative. You want to do something more education. You want to read. You want to learn something. You want to do some research. You want to gain some new wisdom. So you will purposely not incline to channelize your energy in the body to do things that is not required. You will rather guard your energy to learn something new, maybe to grow just fitter and work for the community, than be focused on yourself. Now, point number 5, spiritual clearance. And this is very important. The dark night of soul will push you, and again I'm saying push you, to have spiritual clearances. There will be incidences or memories of the past, the life that you have spent so far, or past lives that will surface up so that you can heal those. There will be many emotional issues rising up, like fear, abandonment, childhood memories of insult, inferiority complex, differentiation between genders, which you will be remembering. Now you would be required to do inner healing of those memories. There will be times when you will be provided with imprints of the past lives. Like you want to get rid of a particular habit or a pattern. Now in my case, I had this issue of doing self-harm because I wanted to escape life in my previous lifetime. And I had these suicidal patterns in my current lifetime as well. I had imprints of poverty coming from my past life, which came up for healing during this time period. Now, if you are conscious enough, you will keep your eyes, ears and mind open and do a reconciliation, a healing in your life so that you transform yourself into an authentic being. So yes, spiritual clearances will come while this time period is there. Point number 6. You value yourself, your freedom and your priorities will change. Now, as a result of the dark night of the soul, you will understand how disrespectful or, how mean you've been towards yourself, your happiness, your authenticity. Now, during this time period, you will learn how to respect. Your priorities will change and you will no longer be pleasing people in order to feel secured. Now, many people today simply go party with others just because they feel that they need to please them. Or maybe, keep them happy in order to secure their status in the society, or just, keep that job running or have that promotion in place. Many people even compromise on their dignity in order to secure their career. Now, the dark night of the soul will help you to prioritize yourself. Be genuine in your feeling and emotion, and also the people and places that you choose to be or spend time with. Now, trust me, you won't feel any more insecure as you go through this, because you now trust yourself and divinity that's within you, and it is growing every day. You will know that you don't need to feel insecure, as you have the ability to manifest things in your favor. Now, if I know this, why would I chase someone? Why would I please someone? Right? So you will value yourself now. Now, point number 7, finding the meaning of life and also the purpose of life. Now, usually in this time phase, which is the most important phase of life, wherein you begin to seek the meaning of life and its purpose, you'll be asking the Creator, why am I on earth? What is my purpose? And believe me, your persistent questioning will enable you to get your answers. So keep knocking that door of God, of divine, of universe. Ask the right questions. I remember that during that phase in my life, I was doing self-healing and simultaneously asking divine to guide me of my purpose in life. And that's where I started with my counseling sessions and also my healing sessions. So this is the time period when you must, I told you feel disconnected, but do not stop knocking at the door. Even if you're not answered, continue knocking at the door. Ask the question, you will receive. So it is ask, you shall receive.